Can they hear me? All right. So Marina's mic isn't turning on right now. Give her a second. So
Can anyone tell me what's
she's resetting stuff. Well, I'm your co-host, Zileris. And we're going to be doing an art Q&A. So welcome. And anyone have any, start like throwing some questions out at us if you want. General art questions or anything that you'd be interested in seeing a tutorial on. All right. So Marina's mic isn't turning on. How to shade properly, how to draw wings, and anatomy. How to draw anatomy. All right, I'll make a list. Oh, I can hear you. All right. Let's see. All right, so she has to restart. Okay.
Okay. Say something?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
It works now, I think.
Okay, good.
Let's see what the chat says. I had to switch to my Blue Yeti microphone. Apparently it doesn't like my webcam mic. I haven't streamed in a bit, so
Okay, yeah. Your audio is good.
okay, cool. Cool, yay! Hello guys, I'm so sorry about that. I got a new webcam microphone and I haven't streamed in a while, and I didn't know that OBS just didn't like that microphone, so I had to switch and then restart OBS. Okay. They're not responding to.
No, give it a second. Yeah, there's some lag. There's some stream lag.
Okay. Things seem to be running okay though, so that's good. I think. Okay, yeah, someone said all good. Okay, so yeah, I'm Marina Dragonflame. I did some of the work for the art, like I did the supporter badge that y'all guys can get to print, and I also did 2 of the stickers in the Redbubble shop, and I thought it'd be cool to have a panel where I just answer questions about art and stuff, because I'm also an art student at SCAD, and I am proud of the knowledge I'm getting from this. I can
Knowledge
words right.
acquired.
The knowledge I've acquired from attending this school, yes. Much better way to phrase it. The animation was actually sketched by Zil, who's my co-host here. We like to do collaborations a lot. We also did a part in Crown Prince's Flyaway map. And he does the base animation, and I do the line art and coloring. Or no, actually Zil did the coloring in the Flyaway map, but I lined and colored this little GIF in the corner here. We both have lovely voices.
Why, thank you.
Okay, so you guys want to learn about shading first? Sure, I would love to show you that. So,
on the list of questions we have, what programs you use, how to draw anatomy / wings / muzzles, and how to shade.
Okay, so maybe I can ask which ones people want to learn about first. Is this the ponies with glasses panel? No. I don't know what that is. I have glasses, and Zil has glasses.
I also have glasses, yes.
Shade! Okay, who's for shading? Who's for shading? I'm gonna...
Oh, okay. So shading...
actually, you know what? You know what I'll do? I'll just go through drawing a pony, like a Pegasus, and that'll just knock them all out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
We'll knock them all unconscious.
So, so the program I'm working in right now is Paint Tool Sci, and this is like one of my favorite programs. It's very basic. It's great for learning like the basic tools you'll use. Photoshop has a lot of the same tools, but Photoshop uses a lot more tools and a lot more stuff. Putting shades on character. No, that's Shady's panel, you silly. Subscribe if you have glasses. Like, follow, and subscribe if you have glasses. We'll become the glasses crew, you guys.
Yes. 4 eyes only.
For animation, we use Toon Boom, which is a pretty good program. Crown Prince has a few videos on Toon Boom and stuff. I haven't used it too much, so... Hello, people just joining. Okay, I'm just zooming in
I
out.
have a lot of experience with Boom, so I can answer questions about that if...
Yeah. Zil is more, he has more expertise in Toon Boom and animation, and as well as 3D, if you have questions with 3D. Krita, no, I haven't used Krita. Is Krita free? I'm not sure. I think Krita's free.
Krita is free. It's a bit... Last time I used it, it was a bit janky, and I think...
I should be drawing.
Vector-ish tools, but it works if you learn how to use it.
So yeah, I'm just gonna draw a Pegasus to just knock out all the questions, which is like anatomy, wings, and shading, and muzzles.
Muzzles.
Okay, so start with a pony. If you want to follow along real quick, just grab some paper and just kind of follow me. So, for a pony, you start with 3 shapes. You start with, lower that so it looks more like a pencil. Start with 3 circles, or I guess also a line, but you draw like a big circle for the head, circle, and then a line that kind of like tangents off of the circle, so like kind of like a bike kind of thing. And then a smaller circle connected to that line, and then just kind of slightly away from that smaller circle you draw another bigger circle for the booty. So you got the head, the chest, and the booty. The flank. Let's say flank. You can some people do really far away bodies or really close. I like to keep it at like not too close, not too far. I kind of edit it as I go. Alicorns aren't real. Once you brought up 3D, okay. We'll talk about 3D.
We can talk about like after we read all the 2D questions.
Yeah, after all the 2D questions, we'll talk about 3D, or Zil will, because I've worked in 2D for a little bit. I mean 3D for a little bit. I've just started because I'm a game design major, so mainly working in 3D. So next you connect the headline with the chest line like this. And just kind of swoop it like a snake. It's kind of like a snake. Think snake. My ponies kind of have like a very serpentine neck because I started drawing with dragons, and yeah, so they kind of look like dragons. And then you do the other side of this line here, kind of another snaky neck, kind of branches off. You can kind of mess with it a bit, and then it curves, that line curves inward a bit, and then connects to the bigger circle. So I'm noticing that the head's too far forward, so I'm just kind of making sure it connects, because this part right here is the skull, and the vertebrae kind of like, that's more like the vertebrae. This line I like to use as the neck tendon, so usually I add this line in final product actually to emphasize that neck muscle.
What tablet are you using?
What tablet am I using? I'm using Bamboo Splash. It's a smaller tablet. I've had it for years. It's really, it's got some glitches, but once you figure out how to fix those glitches, it's like a really good tablet. And a lot of like artists start with this tablet. I think it's relatively cheap tablet as well. Like I think it's 60 maybe. I bet there's cheaper ones, but this is a pretty good one for how cheap it is. Okay, so if you want, let's start with the head. So in the middle, if you want, it may help to like draw a line in the middle of the head to like give you an idea.
Lines.
Yeah, construction line. And to just show where the pony is looking. Usually I only do this for when the pony is not looking profile, like usually they have like a little cross and stuff like that. That shows where the nose will go. Usually the nose branches from the middle of that point. Ooh, sirens. And then if you extend that line outward like I did just now, you have the top of your snoot. And then all you have to do is bring a nice little curved line downward. And then connect it to the head circle. Then you got your base snoot. Now if you want, you could make it shorter, cuter, rounder, like that. I might go with that actually. The one I drew just now just kind of looks more like a dog snout. Then you erase this part of the circle. And you can erase some of that construction line too. Ponies' jaws kind of, well, the show style ponies or any kind, they kind of curve inward a bit, like right here, and then they have a big round jawline. If you look at horses, they have huge jawlines, like just round. So you just draw like a smaller curve, like that. So you're a furry. Yeah.
Aren't we all?
I'm sorry to inform you now, but if you're a brony, you're technically furry. So now I'm noticing his head is still kind of like weirdly slanted forward, so I'm just gonna select it. I mean, you can't do this if you're working traditionally, but that's the wonders of using digital. Just select it and then move it, you know? So if you have a sharp point like this, you just curve it outwards. And I usually draw heads to where the eyes, like where the nose connects to the circle, I curve it inwards a bit to show like the skull kind of curves inward where the eyes are. And then it sharpens out where the brow is. So this would be the brow right here, but not that. That's just a line showing. That's not the brow. And then if you want to draw eyes, they're usually like right here. Give a good amount of space for the bridge of the nose. And then a big old circle. Ponies have big eyes. Or you can draw small eyes if you want. Just give him like tiny button eyes. Wait, I'm gonna do that real quick. Wait. Boop. Perfect. It's a perfect face, you guys.
The best.
It looks like the babies. And glue
the
a
babies
beautiful
don't have
mess.
the white part of the eyes. Just dark beads of death.
I want to be a duck. Hi, Mr. Pizza Cat. I was always like understanding that bronies are furries, but I never really got into the furry fandom until last year. Did you just fall over yourself, Zil?
I continually fall all the time.
Anyway, I'm bringing that eye back so I can just show people. So it's like a oval thing. And then there's like a smaller circle if you want. Just a circle that comes to a point right here, kind of. It's like a teardrop, a very big teardrop, and a small oval inside that teardrop. And then the ears are basically a line shooting upwards from the skull, and then kind of curve it off at the top, and then another curve coming, like a half circle. Like, I used to draw them like that, like just line and half circle. But, you know, as you get better at it, you get more of the form. And then the inner ear is kind of like in the middle of that, and then you curve it outwards, and then inwards. Like so. I'm sorry. I hope that's helpful. I hope this is helpful. I hope I'm teaching correctly. Snake eye syndrome. Learning animation, suck at horses, help me. The best thing you can do is look at references and study the horses. And you know, I think Spirit, there's a link going around Twitter of just a bunch of like notes from animators of Spirit, Stallion of the Cameroon, whatever, and Cimarron. Oh, there's good information about how to draw horses that way. I draw more cartoony stuff.
Cartoony stuff. So when they say it's like study references, they like you really get into like taking a small like aspect or like where the muscles are, and you really like figure out how they shade and how they move and how they look from various angles until you can like picture it in 3D in your mind.
Yeah, you gotta think about it.
Understand how it moves and flows.
These ears look like bunny ears. They're too small.
Maybe you should use a reference.
No.
Once you get down to like understanding like how something, like every aspect of the horse is separately, and you start putting it together, like you really starts coming together mentally, you can draw it from any angle, and it really helps with
Practice,
understanding
practice, practice.
thousands of pictures.
Oh,
Just keep
yeah.
drawing.
So what I just did, I'm messing with the ears, but I don't think they're gonna look good. They're just so tiny. I've been having a hard time drawing ears for some reason recently, but ears are fine. They're just weird things. They can look like anything.
Asks, how long do you usually spend on a piece of art?
It depends. Like, I think my usual is 5 hours. I've been trying to be quicker. I do this event every year called Art Fight, where I just try to be quicker with my artwork. So I've been able to shorten my time substantially that way.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like something as small as like a flat piece, like not shaded at all, would take 5 hours. Do you remember how long that Tempest piece took, Still? Do you remember?
I was like, just thinking about that.
It was a few days, but it was like spread out.
Yeah.
It was very short.
I don't recall. I couldn't imagine it being 4 or 5 hours total.
Yeah.
It looked really, really complete and finished and clean.
Yeah, usually it takes 5 hours, even if it's like not as big. It's just my usual. I just like to spend 5 hours.
Is the Art Fight thing in July? When is the Art Fight thing?
There's a website here. I'll go find it real quick for you. Art Fight. I think it is in July. It's really great. It's really fun. You get your OCs drawn. You get to draw other people's OCs. No, this won't be 5 hours. I'm not focusing on drawing one thing. So the nose is usually just one little teardrop inside the little snout there. Whee. Okay, that's the face. If you want to draw a mouth, usually I put it like right there. So you can like, or usually if it's a small mouth, I do it connected to the snout, but usually if it's not a small mouth, like a big smile or something, I give it a little space. Like if you think of anime or something.
The side mouths.
The side mouth.
Not anatomically correct.
Anatomically.
That's the word. Anatomically.
It's not correct, but it looks good. Art. Okay, so now we got the face. You can mess with that if you want. You can do bigger snouts, smaller snouts, bigger ears, littler ears, bigger eyes, littler eyes, whatever you want. But it's still the basic construction. It's the same construction, just different sizes. Oh my gosh, I keep doing this thing. You just have to keep an idea of where these things usually are in relation to the other. Like if you increase the nose size, you gotta move this small nostril up to where it's in the middle of where the nose is, not where it used to be.
Bigger eyes.
Bigger eye? What? Bigger eyes?
Turbans.
Here.
It's not bigger than the head. Doesn't count. Bigger the cuter, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Just wait till you see what I just drew.
Oh goodness.
Okay. We got a creepy pony here. Perfect.
Who do you think is best pony?
I don't really watch this show anymore, but I really enjoy Pinkie Pie actually. And I think I actually can't remember as much how I feel about the characters. I love Trixie, actually. Trixie grew on me a bit, like, after her episodes aired, like, her first few episodes. Like, she grew on me as a character. I don't know what it was. It wasn't, like, the new ones. It was just, like, randomly, like, oh, I like this character. The same thing happened with Stitch. But I like Pinkie Pie.
First.
Huh?
You didn't like Stitch at first?
I didn't really. Well, I didn't like dislike him. I didn't care. But then I was like, wait, he's adorable. What am I doing? Anyway, to the legs. Let's give this pony legs. Oh, Zoe, wait. Who do you think is best pony, huh?
Who do I think?
Yeah. Fluttershy, right?
Shoot for... No.
Oh, you're just Fluttershy.
Maybe I'm Fluttershy. Luna. I like Luna.
Luna is amazing.
She seems to be like so like out of it, but still down to earth. I don't know. She just seems fun.
I like the Flim Flam brothers a lot. I love Discord, and I love Fluttershy. But Pinkie Pie is my favorite, because I just kind of relate with her. I relate with very energetic characters.
I like Rarity for her, like, over-the-top acting.
Yeah.
It's so dramatic.
When I first started watching the show, Rarity was my favorite.
Yeah.
Anyway, leg time! So, you got your circle. I've gotten so, like, used to drawing ponies that I do this, like, shoulder thing here where I add a curve to this line. But to just make it more basic, you want to, like, draw a smaller circle, like, maybe right here, like, inside the chest circle, and then draw a line outwards. The show style ponies, their legs start small and then they get bigger as they go down, so they kind of taper outward, right? And then this, and then their hoofs curve. One side is bigger than the other. Just go down, 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 like that. And then you got this nice tapering leg that looks super cute, even though she has creepy eyes. And then when I do profile ponies like this, usually what I do is just draw a line from the chest circle connecting to the leg, just to like hide that other leg, because that's annoying. Or you can, if you feel more advanced, you could do a curved line this time to the same line but curved, and then you do another line, and then another line branching off that line. I guess many lines. You could just bend their hoof like this. It took me forever to get this though, so don't feel bad if you don't get it. Like, it's just, I still don't really do it right. It doesn't look right ever, really, to be honest. If I were to show you how they kind of have, there's a joint, they have like an elbow joint, but they have a hoof joint, but then they have a smaller hoof joint, not hoof joint, yes. How horses actually work is they have like a few joints where it's like the hoof is a smaller part, like this. This is how you would draw a real hoof. And so when it bends like that, it kind of has this like extra joint here where it's like dun, 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 dun. So it would be a little more like that. If that makes sense. I'm good at giving tutorials, yes. It's good that I have visual representation, because I'm just like, here, this is how I'm doing it. But yeah, that's how you would normally draw a hoof. It would just be like kind of like that.
Robot pony.
Huh? Robot pony?
What was the last thing you really improved on? Maybe something you can show and maybe tell how you did.
The last thing I really improved on. Oh.
You've been getting really good on forms and 3D perspective.
Yes, I can definitely show that off. No. Yeah, 3D is, I've been having trouble with perspective a lot. Usually, when I started out, I would just draw characters floating, just kind of like floating around. But now I've been working on trying to make my characters seem like they're grounded as well as like in some sort of setting. I'm very bad with backgrounds as well, and so I've been trying to do more backgrounds. And some of the pictures of my slideshow that I was showing before the stream started, I have some backgrounds and that I was really proud of, and you can kind of see how I've been developing, like going from minimalist backgrounds to more interesting compositions. And the way to improve that is to study the art of composition. Composition is a big thing for like full pieces.
Yeah, if you go to like any art school or classes, they won't stop talking about it.
Yeah. So the basic thing is with composition is if you have a blank sheet, if you have a blank canvas, you don't have nothing on there. You don't have no lines. You already start with 4 lines. And you have to design your piece with keeping those lines in mind. So one of the things with composition is that corners are bad. These 4 corners here are bad news bears. Like to make your composition more interesting, you have to like cover those corners up, give it something in the foreground to make it more interesting. And so I always try to work. Huh?
You can cut them off too with something that kind of goes just near them. And
yeah, if you had like a pole or something that was going across the screen, that would cut it off. Or you could have things like curling off of it. So if you see what I'm doing, it makes everything just more interesting looking. Another thing is making sure your objects, when the eye looks at a picture, it follows what's happening in the picture. So like the first thing you look at is the focus point, but you also have the background, which is like curving around the focus point so that it guides the eye around but not off the page. So one of the things when I was working on the supporter badge, let's see if I'm gonna bring it up real quick. One of the things that happened when I was working on the supporter badge is, Zil actually brought this up, let me just bring it up real quick. This is it without any of the added things to it. One of the things Zil mentioned was adding a cord to Cozy's arm while she's sleeping, just like give her like a motivation for being on top of the server tower. Like she's trying to plug in something and she just fell asleep up there. But another point of the cord though is to point the eye back down to where this Hakon, back down to the computer. So your eye goes, the focus point really is GG, but from GG your eye travels well with the supporter, like here, with the supporter thing. So from GG there's a line that goes up towards the supporter badge and back down to the computer. So it's a big circle and everything goes in a circle. Originally, if you just like remember from 5 seconds ago, without this bubble here, this space here seems very empty, and so it was good to have this bubble here, and also these little thought clouds to fill that space, because everything is full at the bottom. One of the things we were debating is if we should put the supporter sign at the top or the bottom. And if we put it at the bottom, everything is just way down here. So, if that makes sense.
Could you redline it for me?
Redline it?
Or just like the to show like how things are laid out, kind of basic shapes of it.
Here, yeah, silhouettes, you mean?
With the arrows and whatnot.
Oh, sure. So the focus point is Gigi. There's a big face right there. You've got... I'm not exactly understanding what you mean, but...
Well, I mean, like, show how things point to each other and how to draw the focus around.
Well, I guess, the chords are a great example because they're literally like just lines that just kind of, they weigh down, and they tell the eye to just go back to the computer, so they're just like pointing down where the gravity is going. And then also Cece's also pointing downward with her arms. Her whole body is just pointing downward. And that's also a reason why the composition with if this supporter sign was at the bottom, it would be so weighted, is because nothing is pointing upward while these thought bubbles are pointing upward. So it goes from this to Gigi's face upward, carried by the thought bubbles, to the supporter badge, back down with Cozy, and then your eye lands back at Hakon. And then your eye probably travels with the arm, just looks around Gigi, and it's just a cycle. Scribbles. With Gigi, you can tell Gigi is a good example of this kind of composition cutting that we were talking about just now, where her chair cuts off the corners here, and her wing also cuts off the corners. So that's all just blotted out. Do you see? And then she goes off the page, so it's just... if there was more time, it would probably be best to like have more things in the background so that it cuts off these corners or something. But that is one thing that I've been improving on. Or trying to.
It's in progress. Everyone's at different levels.
Yeah.
Continue working forever. Never stop learning.
Never stop.
Someone asked, well, we've got to cover anatomy and wings, and someone asked, how do you draw ponies in different angles?
Yeah, I'll get to that once I finish drawing this pony real quick. So it's not long before we finish this pony. This guy is like, she's almost done. So we got like this hindquarters circle here, and usually what I do is the way pony this is another thing that I had trouble learning, is that ponies' hindquarters are just really weird. But if you just plan out the joints first, it makes it easier. So their hindquarters kind of jut outwards, or forward, sorry, and then there's another joint, and then they go actually parallel to the ground backwards, like that, and then they just go straight down. So it's like a 4. Let's say it's like a 4. That's the stylization. I'm not sure about actual like horse anatomy. I think it's how it works. I'm not sure.
Horse anatomy is a little straightforward, a little more straighted out, but it's basically the same thing.
I think there's another joint here, just like the front legs, where there's like another joint before the hoof and the it's like an ankle basically. So there's like a teardrop shape for the thigh. Just make that hindquarter shape into a teardrop shape, and then you just follow the joints that you laid out. And if you look at a pony in show style, Twilight, let's just bring one up so you can see. They're like really stylized. Let's see, there we go. Let's do you. Copy! This is also just kind of my style of doing things. So you have that teardrop shape. Teardrop shape, and then they jut out like that. And they curve. The weird thing about show style legs is that the legs actually curve inwards. So they also tapered outwards, but they curve inwards. So I made the thigh way too big. So you curve the thigh, and then you just curve that leg inward. Let's get rid of the construction lines. I think a way I used to do it as well is I would draw sort of a curved line for the thigh, but I don't really like doing that anymore. Make the booty rounder. Just kind of make sure everything looks okay. The thigh shouldn't be too big. The weird pointy outy thing shouldn't be too sharp or like too extreme. Pronounced, yeah, that's a good word. So it's very like eased. So you still got that like the show style really like stylize it where it kind of gets rid of this joint, but it's still there. And if you look at show style where her leg is bent, it has it like there it is. So it's just how the show stylizes it.
Yeah, she looks like Twilight looks kind of chubby in that one.
Yeah. There we go. There's a leggy. And then you kind of get rid of that line. Just make sure that the thigh kind of blends into the body. You can stylize it more. You can do that. I think I'll make that smaller. There we go. And then the back leg, usually I do like a leg from the middle of the belly to the middle of the thigh, and then I bring that line out to make another foot. And make sure that the foot ends a bit higher than the front foot because perspective. Because it's on a different plane of existence.
Yeah, angles and distance.
Okay, so that's a pony. You can mess with it more.
Well, if you keep messing with it, it's going to be like another 6 hours and then you'll have another finished piece.
So funny. Okay, so wings. Wings are easier for me to teach, I feel like. I like teaching about wings. They're fun. So wings are basically arms. Like, literally, they are human arms. You can pose, if you bend your arm certain ways, a wing can do it. So, like, if you just, like, move around, like, yeah. So it's basically like an arm, just shoulder joint, line, elbow joint, line, and then this is the hand. So yeah, but they don't have hands.
Don't
can you shout cha 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 chia cha cha chia cha 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 chia
cha 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 chia
pony 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 pony. Okay, so now that we got our wing arm kind of laid out, without the feathers, it looks like this. Actually, I think there's another joint like coming off of that. So there's, if you like look at a featherless chicken, this is what it looks like. So that's the arm.
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings, yummy yummy yummy. So yeah. And then once you understand that, you can bend it and flex it or whatever. And so to make the feathers, you just have to extend this little tiny joint here, extend it, and make a pointy shape here. So the way wings work, it depends on the bird, of course. Usually what I like to do is like 3 or 4 very long feathers like this. Just long feathers. Let's do like 3 maybe. And then you get like slowly, like slightly rounder and shorter. And then as you get closer to where the body is, you get rounder and shorter, and then as you get closer, they're about the same size. See? So it should be about like that. And then there's, usually wings are about 3 layers, so it's like layer, layer, and then a smaller layer, like that. But usually what I do is 2 layers. And then, like scales, just do small rounder ones that cover up where the feathers meet. So if you think of scales, like usually the way scales are done is that there are 2 scales, and the scale below it is in between where they meet, and also like the point where they start is in the middle of the top of the scale. So it's like that. Okay, and that is a wing. You can clean it up a bit. That's just an open wing though. For a wing on a pony, you could stylize it. Usually simplify, stylize, the same difference.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Usually I draw a little like shoulder here for my ponies, so I know where the shoulder is. And then the wing usually goes here, where the neck connects to the body, behind the shoulder. And then you just do the same thing. Kind of get an idea of how open you want the wing to be. And then what shape. Same thing can be done with the bat wings, by the way. It's the same concept, just no feathers. And then you just draw the fingers. Very, very long fingers. Okay, so that, and then you can stylize it where they're just like really big, smaller, 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 larger, like that. So if you were to simplify the wing, you'd make less feathers and rounder, and as well as they're kind of bigger. That's how you do like show style wings. I think they're even more simplified than that, though. And usually I like to draw a little elbow line there.
Yeah, I think they have like maybe 5 feathers per wing. Something. Makes them easy to count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I did too many. But yeah, it's just. And then if you want to draw bent wings, same thing with like an arm. If you just like, bend your arms like a raptor or a T-Rex, that's basically how a wing would be folded. Some birds, the reason some birds don't really show that shoulder part is that their shoulders are just really small. So it just kind of folds over itself.
And we kind of like covered all of it up.
Yeah. So yeah, just pose, like act it out yourself, and then it might help you figure out what it looks like. Okay, what else? Shading?
Well, yeah, shading and drawing them from different angles.
Oh yeah, angles. I like that arcane. Have genuine professional opinions. Okay, so different angles. It's pretty simple. You just take the same concepts here. If you remember what I said about how to start your muzzle, is you just turn that line that you use the muzzle in another direction. So this pony will be facing more outwards. I think this is 3/4 view actually. It's yeah. So it's just the same concepts. Just what I would suggest is just practice drawing this at profile and then posing it a bunch, and then like experimenting with how the legs and the arms, the legs and the head can move as well. Like, so like I'm drawing this pony with like a bendy neck, and his shoulder is kind of up. It's the same. This arm is the same pose. It's just quicker. I'm talking too much.
You're teaching too much.
I'm teaching too much. I could never be a teacher. My throat would murder me. That's just a quick sketch. Yeah, he's like really leaning, but let's see, if you were to draw them from the top, I've never really needed to do that, but so you're not just drawing circles. If you're doing perspective stuff, you're not just drawing circles, you're drawing spheres. So that's why drawing these like construction lines is helpful, so you can like get an idea of how the sphere works. It would even be better if you drew ellipses inside the sphere, so it even shows more how it's a 3D shape. And
this will get into like shading properly too.
Yeah, this helps.
3D shapes.
Yeah, understanding 3D shapes is not probably very key in understanding shading. So this is a pony from the top. Their ears are down though, so if their ears were up, it'd be more like just small ellipses. I don't think you'd even see much of their nose from the top. So I'm gonna draw a pony from, see, 3/4 looking up. So like this, and drew too scribbly, so it's drawing up. You can see their chin, so it's good to like draw another like line to show their chin, right? And then round that for their jawline, because they have a big circular jawline. And their neck connects in the middle of where the jaw ends.
The curves and lines.
Lines
Everything
and curves and...
Everything in a pony is basically...
circles!
Circles and cylinders.
Yeah, it's... Practice drawing circles and cylinders. Do it.
Basic shapes.
I'll be honest, here I'm not the best with perspective either. I've mentioned it already, that I'm not good at perspective. I'm like trying to draw this freaking pony looking upwards. Like looking under the face is one of my hardest part. Like it's hard. And it's okay. It's fine that it's difficult. This is why we learn. I would be like up here somewhere. The nose is like jutting out too much. He's a very handsome man. But so that's how you draw them, and now shade it. Booty drawing. I regret saying booty now. Okay, so just for shading, just for simple shading, I'm gonna just draw a circle or a sphere, basically. For shading, you wanna first find out. You wanna get the base colors. They're called local values. Basically, it's the color of an object with no light or no shadows. So that's local value. And then once you get the base colors down, you decide where the light is coming from. So the light's coming from this, or if you want to get more advanced, also what color the light is. Most professional pieces have at least 2 light sources in their composition. It makes it more interesting for one, and for 2 it makes it look more realistic. For example, I think it was my Tempest piece, I had the just the sunlight from above, as well as so we got the sunlight from above, as well as the glow from these little like strand things. And also, that's actually 3 light sources here, because we got the beta fish and Tempest are actually glowing themselves, so they're technically a light source. And then the light from above and the light from these tentacle thingies. So you can see how there's blue light and there's pink light, and how it reflects on every object because they're wet and shiny. And then you can especially see it in the bubbles here. So there's the pink light, there's the bluish light from both strands, and it helps that they're pink and these are pink, but the bubbles also catch the light of the sun from above in their outlines, as well as the fish. So I'm gonna start with just one though. So usually what I do for shading is my favorite colors to use for shading is this purple and this yellow. Actually, is usually my favorite, but I usually try to variate that because it's a bit obvious how often I use it in my work. But it's a good starter. So for shading, you do another layer and you clipping group makes it so that it will only color on this layer, on the shape that you draw. Whee! And then you can change, there are different modes to layers that you can do. So multiply is what I use to shade it, like that. But you can also do screen, which kind of lightens it a bit. Overlay changes the saturation value, I think. I'm not sure exactly. Luminosity is good for light. Shading is another, like, it just makes it darker. It makes the value more exaggerated. Lumi shade is good. I use it when I want my colors to be more vibrant. And then binary color I never use because it's just black. It's like I think binary is like 0 or 1, so if it's like closer to 0 it paints black, if it's closer to 1 it paints white. I'm not sure, but I never use that one. What?
Black and right, yeah. There's a ton of blending modes, and they all do slightly different things.
Oh, there's even more in Photoshop.
There's like tons in Photoshop, but it takes you just got to experiment with those and see what looks best.
Yeah. Are you okay? You're just like flopping over everything.
Oh no, I don't know why it's making a ton of noise. I'm like not doing a ton. It's just my mic's bouncing around everywhere because it's a headset.
Okay, so wow. Wait, did everyone leave?
No.
There's like me. Wow, why is it so buggy? How many people are here?
It says like 38 people are watching.
Okay. I'm just like, it's me, and from my screen it says Jerry Grant, Carbonstein, me, and Nano Nanners, and now Endless Nonsense, and then a crew. Okay, now it's loading. Kind of. There's also, now it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Walla Colo, Ubrosis. Hey, my friend.
The participants is only for people that have said things in the past.
Oh.
Or like mods.
Oh, how do you oh, wait. Ah, what? Top chat, live chat.
And under your live stream title, to the left.
Oh, 38, okay.
Says
but I want to say who's here. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, if you want to get noticed, you have to talk. But don't spam. Don't do it. Okay, so for shading, I'm gonna use multiply. For a good rule of thumb, for colors, one of the reasons this purple and this yellow are good is that when a light is warm, usually it casts a cool shadow, and when the light is cool, it casts a warm shadow, which is weird, but that's how it works. So yeah, it's cool to play with that. So the easiest way to do shading is to block out your values first. So I usually this is how I end up with so many layers, is that I just do so many like extra multiply and luminosity layers. So I just multiply. So we got that, and then take that yellow, make it luminosity, or you could just not like you could just use the yellow. Works too. A good rule is to not ever use black or white unless you're trying to do something stylized. It's just that kind of stuff just doesn't happen in I want to say that doesn't happen in the natural world, but I think it does. it's just more appealing to not use stark contrast like that. So once you get your colors blocked out, all you have to do is just blend them like so. Blend them together. And you got a nice that. And if that's too, I think luminosity might be too much for this color scheme. So I turned it off. Huh?
It's a bright yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah, so I just turned the luminosity off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's fine. Oops. And then if I take this, just sort of editing, just kind of fixing with things. That. And then I'm just gonna combine these multiply layers so I could just blend them together nicer. A thing you can play with is what is it called? Ambient occlusion or something? What's it called, Zil? You were showing me about it before.
Ambient occlusion.
Yeah, where like objects kind of like what reflect what's next to them or something.
Oh no, so yeah, that's I think it's just light reflection. Ambient occlusion is when two objects are close together and makes it harder for light to reflect into it. And so when, say like if an arm is like next to a wall, it won't be like a shadow exactly, but like there'll be less light there, so causing a shadow. Yes. Electron says bounce lighting too, when things are bouncing light off each other.
Yeah. When like objects are next to each other, I like to like take the color of the object and like carry it over. Ah, what'd I do?
Yeah, bounce lighting and ambient occlusion are the little things that add more realism to a piece.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this one's not perfect, but it gives a good idea of how that works. Understanding like 3D shapes is how you'll know where these shadows go. Maybe if I were to load something up that was like flat. Give me a moment. Find something that's flat, maybe. I guess I could use. Let me see. Yeah. Let's find a pony. Hiccup. Are they saying anything? So.
Not too much. It's not. I can say anything currently.
Yeah, what's been covered so far? Pony anatomy, wing anatomy, shading now. I'm trying to find something that I can just like. If I can find.
Any pieces you've done recently with full shading?
The Tempest piece I did full shading with.
Any school pieces that you still have?
School pieces? What?
School. Schoolwork.
Why?
Well, for shading. Do you have anything that you can use here?
I was gonna find something flat so I can show them like what I do. Wow. Don't really have
the plushies.
Plushies? Let me see. Hack on. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Yeah, I got a subscriber. Yeah. Emerald Dash. Okay, so I got these plushies here. They're not the best example because they're plushies, but they're rounder and not really like defined the same way as a normal pony would be. And also it's all on one layer, so so usually the darkest parts I go for are like under the eyes, like between the snout and the eyes and where the hair covers it. Let me just change that color.
The technical term is the hair, the snoot shadows.
What?
The furry shadows, the snoot shadows.
The furry shadows?
Yes. Or the fur that hangs over. I don't know. Alright.
What time is it? 5:30, 5:40?
Are you planning to do more on your YouTube channel in the future?
Yeah. Over the summer, I'm in college right now. Like usually over the summer I do a lot more. I really want to do more animatics and participate in Crown's maps and stuff, or other maps, anyone's maps.
A lot of little animation projects to work on.
Yeah, I have some ideas for myself as well. I've been wanting to edit streams I've done in the past, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. Premiere doesn't work on my computer because it sucks, so my computer sucks, not Premiere. Yeah, this is not gonna work for just showing that. I could just probably highlight where. Let me just bring up this one again. Just showed this one. The Tempest Fish one is a pretty good example. Because it has so many light sources. So as I was saying about like the having two different objects that are next to each other, since she's wet and she's a fish, she's really shiny, so this glow really bounces off of her. So it's good to have these splashes of pink all around where the light or the pink meets up with her skin is. So there's like that. Blue. Yeah, I'm really proud of this one. But you can see like just where the forms are, where the lines are. Basically, where you put lines is a good place to put shading, if that makes sense. Lines define shadows in most cases. The thicker the line is, the more, if you're not shading something, it's good to like have thicker lines where a shadow would be, and thinner lines where a light would be. So there's like really thick lines over here, right? See, there's like rah, but there's thinner lines over here where the light is, and it's really thin here. Thicker on the inside of the hoof where the shadow is, thinner where there's light hitting the object. It just makes the line art look more interesting. Okay, that's just an art trade I was working on. Yay! But yeah,
Yeah, you could probably talk for hours on like lighting,
yeah,
because there's so much to it.
yeah. And perspective and lighting I'm not exactly a master of yet. I'm still experimenting. Oh, this is another one where I experimented with composition as well. Here you can see I put little I don't know, corals at the corners, and had these you can see where like the lines curve around the piece. The tentacles curve down and towards Tempest. They're all pointing, except for this one that's kind of pointing inwards. They're all pointing towards Tempest, and the corals are pointing towards her. The seaweed aren't really pointing towards her, but that's okay because the seaweed point into the coral, which points back, as well as the tentacles. So that's another good example of composition. That I'm not the best example. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it, but it's how I implement it. So you said we were an art student. What's that like? And would you say you enjoy it? I am an art student. I'm a sophomore at Savannah College of Art and Design. I'm a game design major and an animation minor, and I've been enjoying it so much. I've learned so much. You see this piece, right? Like, let me see if I can find something that was from before I came to SCAD. Actually, I do have one piece that is also painted. That this is before SCAD, and this is after. The hair, this one I'd say has more detail in the hair, and I'm really proud of the hair in this one, but you can kind of see how everything is kind of not as defined, and I don't really know what I'm doing in this one. I'm very uncertain about things. This was like kind of the first fully painted piece I did, but I'm still proud of it and I love it, but I feel like Tempest, this piece has more personality, it tells more of a story, and it has better lighting. This one doesn't have any lighting at all, no defined, like, it's shaded, but the light on the hair is a different color than the light on the skin. I mean the feathers and the coat. And it's very blurry. And also my eyes have improved so much. So, like, going to an art school with some knowledge beforehand, it only improved me more. And I've had peers who went into art school not really knowing, or who weren't as good, and they've improved so much as well, maybe at a faster rate than I have. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So yeah, Zill's also an art student.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to school for graphic design and web development. Not as intense with the art specifically.
Yeah, you didn't have to take foundations, right? Not really. Any sort of like drawing classes.
I've had drawing classes, I've had composition classes. It's a lot about layout and composition stuff.
Yeah, SCAD makes you take foundation classes.
I'm taking figure drawing next year.
Ooh.
I did a lot of shading and kind of still life studies in an art.
Oh yeah, you did, like last semester.
Yeah, last semester. I learned a lot there too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Reflections.
Yeah. Well, okay. It seems like the chat's kind of calmed down.
We're hitting almost 3 o'clock now.
Yeah. Yeah, we were supposed to be done like 20 minutes ago. Any more questions before we go? I hope this helped. Yeah, there's still 33 people watching. It's just the questions are kind of winding down, and the panel's actually supposed to be over, and my throat is getting sore.
Yeah. Fan art versus original art.
Fan art is. Sorry, I'm buzz. Fan art is good for. Well, I mean, if you just love the character, draw it. I like drawing OCs. I like drawing other people's OCs. I hardly draw canon characters. Tempest is like one of the one of the only fan art pieces I've done. Huh?
Yeah, one of the canon pieces.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with either. People can make worlds with their OCs, and it's really cool, especially if they start getting popular. It's just really inspiring that someone's OCs and like their stories get popular.
Personally, well, I think like fan art is like, if you want to get like pretty well known as an artist, you either have to be like exceptionally like amazing at original art, or you draw a lot of fan art that's pretty good.
Yeah. Just like staying on top of what is popular.
A lot of art and media is about being on what's trending. Oh, tips on 3D. Learn to practice drawing, seeing things in 3D.
It would help to draw first, and if you understand how to draw 3D, you understand how 3D shapes work. Matching the eyes. Keep going. Sorry.
A lot of the tools that are used in 3D have the same tools. A lot of the programs have the same tools. There's a couple free programs out there you can use, and you have to go for the tutorials and really learn the tutorials to get the basics down, learn how to operate the system, and then once again it's a lot of studying and like actual references and practicing. Is there anything in particular that you're curious about in 3D, for 3D? Because it's like a whole nother like list.
Yeah, that's like that's a whole nother panel. While they get to that question, when they get to answering it, I'm gonna talk about eyes. Eye highlights and matching the eye size. That is another thing that just comes with practice. I do this funny thing. Huh?
Well, I'd say like with the construction lines and learning how to draw in perspective. The basics for getting those accurate.
A funny thing I do when I draw, my default pose. As you get better at drawing, you have a default pose that when you have less energy, you just do it because you need to. Is 3/4. So a funny thing I do is the eye that is closer to the viewer is bigger than the eye farther away, and that's just perspective. But sometimes it gets a little funky because I do that a lot, where one eye is bigger than the other, and sometimes they get a little dorky. But when I was first starting out, I would just copy and paste them, just flip them, and I think I still do. I actually still do. basically I copy and paste them just to make sure the shapes. There's no shame in copying and pasting your own work. Don't copy and paste other people's works. There's no shame in using the tools that you are given to your advantage, just to like copy it. Flip it, and then just kind of make sure, if you see how, like, if I copied it and didn't like resize it all, the eye sticks off the page. So if I just kind of smoosh it down, free reform, makes it so I can like manipulate it more. So it's just so that you have the same shape, but even as you do that more, you start understanding it more yourself, and then soon you'll be able to freehand it. But I'd still practice. Just don't rely too heavily on copy and paste. Try it yourself a few times. If it doesn't work, just go to copy and paste. You know, like I at least try. If I'm not able to do it, I just can't do it today, you know. For eye highlights, eyes are weird. I'm still playing with my eye style. Basically what I do is for highlights, that's pretty easy. When you have your light source, you just basically draw the white where the light source is coming from, so it would be like right there. And then like a smaller dot, and then for the reflection in the eye, you do like a luminosity, bigger circle, and then lower the opacity. It's a pretty simple eye right there. And then you can get more detailed and shade that eye. Ah, don't do that. Oh well, you know what I'm saying. Yes. But yeah, it's basically where the light source is coming from. You draw the highlight like pointing at it.
And highlights are usually pretty crisp because eyes are very reflective. So like in the Tempest piece, you can zoom in and you can see like the reflection of the glowy things.
The tentacle things.
The tentacle things, yeah. And but they curve over the surface of the eye because the eye is curved.
Yeah. In this piece also, for like, it depends. Like, really, it's just what looks right to you. Sometimes I do have it where the highlights are on the opposite ends, but most of the time I try to keep it where the highlights are on the same side, where like, so for this one they're on the opposite, but usually I try to do like the highlight be on this end and then the highlight would be here as well. But in this one I think it's okay because there are literally light sources in front of her face, so it would be kind of that opposite effect. But yeah, what do I use to draw and stuff? I said this in the beginning of the stream, but I'm primarily a digital artist. I use Paint Tool Sai and Photoshop to do editing. I work with the basic tools. I have some that I edited to like do some cool stuff with. You can find some cool tools for Sai online. For traditional art, I like to color with colored pencils, and I just use a pencil. I don't do traditional art that often though. Did the person who was asking about 3D, oh, they did respond, but they didn't respond to your question. Oh well. Okay. What? Understanding Shelf subscribe to me. Also, Jerry Grant.
Singer.
Jerry Grant, the good singer.
Yes, that's how they announce him on stage.
Yep.
Let's see. Covered things. Covered questions. Is that all for today? Any more questions?
Yeah, let's just wait a few seconds, see if... I think that wraps it up pretty good. What got us into the fandom?
I think...
Tumbles.
Go ahead. I'll answer after you.
So basically this guy from my school started spamming me with My Little Pony videos, and I was like, hey, I actually like this. And so this happened.
Roughly the same for me. I was just on the internet and people would respond with GIFs and videos of My Little Pony, and I was like, yeah, they make funny faces, the jokes are actually pretty amusing, and then I started watching it, and then I was just, kids were watching it. And yeah, that was about it. Just kept going, drawing, working on stuff.
Yep. Okie doke, the end. The end. Thank you all for joining. If anyone has any more questions that they think of, I don't know. You can contact me through like DeviantArt or
like, comment,
Twitter.
subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. I'll do more stuff on YouTube.
There'll be more tutorial stuff in the future.
If you guys like it, like, make some noise. We could stream more often, answer more questions.
Yes.
I also, by the way, have a Patreon. I also have a tip jar if anyone feels a bit generous. Patreon, you could get cool art stuff just for supporting me. There's some cool stuff. See art early. I really want that to take off, but yeah, I'd stream more often, but school.
Yes, also the same.
But yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming here today. And enjoy the rest of HackCon. Go see other streams. Go support our friends. We are all friends who made this convention, so yeah. And buy the merch if you want to. That's also my art. Some of it. All of it is my art. Buy everything. Give us your money. All of your money.
Please, we need it. We're going to school.
Hey, yeah, we're going to college. We're starving artists. To the gaming stream. Okay. Bye, guys. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye, 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 bye.